Tish, thanks for coming in today. I know that last time that we met, you were keen to look at ways to manage your anxiety through medications and through other means. So I just want to ask, what brings you in today?
I've just been feeling really stressed and been having a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and just to remind you, everything that we talk about today is confidential. It's just between us. Okay, great. So what I find quite helpful is if we can look at a specific situation. And I wonder, has there been a particular situation recently that caused you to be anxious?
Well, yeah. So a few days ago, I noticed that Leah had a rash, and I was really worried about it. So I Googled it, and just like so many terrible things came up, and I was convinced that it was smallpox. So like I rushed her to the pediatrician, and he reassured me that everything was fine, and that it would just like resolve in a few weeks, and it was just a common rash. But yeah.
It sounds like you were really worried.
Yeah. And afterwards, like I took her to the grocery store, and I could just feel like everyone was staring. I could feel them thinking that I was a bad mother. I'm getting nervous just talking about it.
It's okay.
But I had to leave the grocery store. Like I didn't even buy the groceries. I just had to get out of there. I was so overwhelmed. Like I couldn't handle it.
That sounds really tough. Can you tell me a little more about that feeling of being overwhelmed?
Yeah. I just thought that like there were other mothers in the store, and I just could really feel like they were judging me, and that made me really nervous. I couldn't really handle that. I could just think, I just knew they thought I was a bad mother, and thinking that I couldn't take care of my baby. Just thinking, I thought they were probably thinking like I don't bathe her, or I don't, put lotion on her skin, like take care of her. And I just thought that, people were thinking, like looking at me like, oh, she's contagious, and thinking like, why are we even in public, like especially in a grocery store, like I just felt it.
And what would that mean if they thought that you were a bad mother?
Well, I think that they would think that I was a terrible person, like an unfit mother, like I'm neglecting my child. I know it sounds crazy, but like even at one point I was like really feeling worried that someone, might take me away from me, like seeing me in public like that, thinking I'm not a good mother.
Well, it sounds like those are really difficult thoughts to be having. How did it make you feel when you were thinking that?
I felt anxious and guilty, like feeling guilty that, the other mothers might actually be doing a better job than me, and just thinking that maybe Leah's better off with, one of those other mothers.
And what we find is that it's really common when you're having anxiety to have physical symptoms that come up. Can you think of any physical things that were going on for you in that moment?
Yeah, I felt like just really hot, and like my hands were sweating, and my heart was racing, and just feeling like kind of out of it and lightheaded.
And how do you feel now that you're recalling these emotions?
I feel a bit of the same.
Yeah.
Right now I'm feeling, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just notice those feelings, and let's just focus on our breathing for a moment. So let's just take a deep breath in and out together. So let's take a deep breath all the way in, and then just release. Okay. What do you notice now?
I noticed that I just wasn't really thinking about anything while I was doing that. I feel a bit calm.
Yeah, feels a bit better. Yeah. Okay. And so it's really understandable that you would be feeling anxious, especially if you're having these really self-critical thoughts and negative thoughts. And it's common in anxiety to have these kind of thoughts to come up, and quite frequently for many people. Can you think of some other reasons that people might have been looking at Leah?
I think that they're probably just really concerned for her, like that she's not okay.
Okay. And what else?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're just looking at her because she's a baby. People look at babies, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Or,
that's good. Are there other things that you can think about?
I don't know, maybe some of the mothers have had their babies have gone through things like that too. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they weren't staring at us at all and just thought they were.
Yeah, okay, that's great. So that sounds very reasonable to me, the things that you've thought of, the alternate possibilities for why they might have been looking at her. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So knowing what you do now, what we just talked about, what do you think that you could do if you were in a similar situation in the future?
I guess I could think about what we talked about here and think of some of those like other reasons why they might be looking. Or
yeah, absolutely. And what about some of the signs and cues that you might be getting anxious that might help you to remember that?
Yeah, I guess if I notice myself starting to feel like clammy and my heart rate starting to be a bit faster, maybe I can try to like just take a pause and try some of that like breathing to distract myself. Yeah, that might help calm me down.
Okay, all right. Well, to me it sounds like you have a really good plan there. So some of the things that we talked about getting overwhelmed in the grocery store, thinking that maybe other people are judging you and so on. If we're looking at going ahead in the future, what I heard you saying was that you would think of perhaps some of the other possibilities for why people might be looking at you. Noticing when you're feeling anxious, so when you're feeling that tightness in your chest, your rapid heart rate, the sweaty palms, taking a moment to take a deep breath and think of some of those possibilities that you came up with. And I think that that's a really great plan moving forward. Yeah. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is try and work on that the next time that you feel yourself getting anxious. And then next week when you come back, we can have a look and see how it went.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Tish.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.